everyone, it's Acacia, CEO, legal coach, and today I'm going to do something I've never done before. Today's topic is supposed to be severance agreements, what's negotiable. And I'm still happy to answer any questions on that. So if you have your chat minute and go ahead and find that, I will gladly answer them. But I'd like to move that topic to next week, to Tuesday. And instead, I want to talk about the pain, the agony, the panic of a layoff, because I've been laid off before. I've been unemployed more than once in my life, and I've had the financial panic. I have had those moments where I don't know what to do. And what started to happen is I started to realize there was a lot of opportunity in these moments, but I was in such a state of panic or so worried about the next paycheck that I stopped and made them happen. But in the beginning, I was so frantic, I never noticed them. And it wasn't until I was done with my unemployment or my layoff period that I started to realize I could have been more of me in this moment. I could have been more of me. So that's what I want to dedicate today's call to. It was just the power of reframing that panic, the power of reframing the panic from a layoff, because there is a lot and it sucks and it hurts, because when you got laid off, you probably felt a little tinge of it was you. It's not you. Having been on both sides of these, I can tell you it's not you. That's the difference between being fired and a layoff. Being fired means you did something or you failed to do something that was in alignment or whatever. A layoff means it was simply a business decision. A business decision. Some product line didn't work as well. The cash flow is down. We're moving offices. Something that happens with or without you. It has nothing to do with you, but of course it impacts all of you. So like I said, I've been laid off before, and I had just moved to a new state, and the job that I took with me, I transferred with it. That transition did not work out well. So we both mutually agreed, okay, it was time for me to go. But I didn't get unemployment. It wasn't a severance. It wasn't a layoff. It wasn't that type of a thing. I just went back out into the market and was like, we're going to find something else. And so I spent a few months like that. And then I finally got a job. Finally got a job, and around day 80, I got laid off. I had just come off of being unemployed. What? Are you kidding me? My bank account was hemorrhaging. It wasn't ready for this. My mental wasn't ready for this. I wasn't ready for this. And so here is what I learned. That when we first get laid off, we have a panic. And that panic is usually about two things: the paycheck, the money, right? But also the unknown. I don't know when that next paycheck's going to come. I don't know when this is going to happen. I don't know. What I can say is a couple things. One, you have resources available to you. Okay. And we're going to go through some of that today. And we're going to talk about reframing, what I did to actually turn my unemployment, especially that second one, into like an all-star series of months. All-star. And what it starts with is recognizing that, yes, it's true, you don't know where your next paycheck is going to come from or when it's going to come. But here's what I do know. If you're stressing and you're panicking, you will have another paycheck. You will. You're not the type of person that wouldn't let you not. You're not the type of person that's going to give up and just, I don't know, that's it, sell the mortgage, file bankruptcy. You're not going to let that happen. You're going to fight because it means so much to you. What I also know is you're already employable. You just got done being employed by a company that didn't handle their stuff right on the bottom line for whatever reason, which means you can get another job. So we know you're going to have another paycheck. We know you're going to get another job. We know this about you. We also know that if you're lucky enough to get a severance package, you're going to have some money coming. I did not get a severance package. Nope. I was just let go. And it was horrible too. And we had our team calls and our division calls the 2 weeks prior, and everyone was like, don't worry guys, we're going to hold off at least 2 months. No one's getting laid off for at least 2 months. And then all of a sudden there was a call on my calendar on a Friday. And there it was. You're being laid off. They'd promised 2 months at a minimum. I didn't make it 2 weeks. So that happened, and I didn't get a severance at all. So if you have a severance, know that that alone right there, you're going to have some money to feed yourself with. You're going to have some money to put the roof over your head. Maybe you're not going to be able to buy the organic stuff from Whole Foods or Sprouts or whatever, but you're going to be able to put a roof over your head a little bit longer. You're going to be able to feed yourself and your family a little bit longer. And this is the other thing that is phenomenal about this opportunity is you have unemployment. When I'm not going to lie, I was on unemployment. I've been on unemployment before. And I felt embarrassed, felt ashamed. I was relying on this government thing to pay my bills. But then I started to realize, is there anything wrong with making sure my bills are paid? No. And where does this money come from? This money comes from the fact that I'd been paying into it. You know, all those little deductions that you see on your paychecks over the years? You're like, wow, they sure are taking out a lot. Well, some of those have been going to unemployment. It's unemployment insurance. It's a form of insurance. It's like life insurance or health insurance, anything else that you would take insurance on, except this time it's been being managed by the government for you. It's your money. You paid into it. There is no shame in getting your money, asking for it, and doing the right thing with it, taking care of yourself, your life, your home, and the people you love. There is no shame in that. And yet somebody like me, I was a lawyer, a corporate lawyer, this and that. I was a director of this. And I just felt so shameful that I needed help, that I needed the government to help me. I am so grateful that I had unemployment available to me. I am so grateful because here's what it allowed me to do. And this is where we're going to start to shift our mindset about a few things. Let me put them on the screen. I have an exercise that I did, absolutely free, totally free here. I'm not going to charge you guys for anything right now. That'd be ridiculous. The website's not on it. It's ceolegalcoach.com/layoff opportunity, layoff-opportunity, ceolegalcoach/layoff-opportunity. And what it started to do for me is I could breathe. I knew some money was coming in. And I knew some money was coming in no matter what I did. No, the money wasn't going to last forever, but 6 months, which is what it was in my state at the time, I can do a lot in 6 months. You can do a lot in 6 months, right? So do something you've never gotten to do before. Let's start to look at all the ways your job has prohibited you from living your best life. You have to be somewhere at a certain time and date every single day. You have to attend the meetings that you don't want to attend. You have to get certain tasks done no matter what the deadline or turnaround is. That's suddenly gone for you. That is now breathing space. If you wanted to sleep in tomorrow, you can. And you know money is coming in. Now, I'm not going to sit here and recommend that you just sleep your entire your unemployment window away. But here is what I'm saying, is this is space to breathe. And as we've already discussed, you're not the type of person who's never going to have a job again. You will. Of course you will. You're you. You're not going to stop until you get another paycheck. You're not going to stop until things are back on track. We know that. But in order for you to give your best and to get the best job you can right now, you need to breathe. You need to connect with your best and bring it back out. And being in panic mode is absolutely understandable, but it's not your best. It's not where we bring our best. And in fact, it's where we are the least creative. Our body is going to do whatever it can just to survive. And as we just discussed, you're going to survive. You've got a little bit of breathing room here to survive. No, you're not making 100%. No, you're not going to get, your full bonus. No, you're not going to be living your best life, but you can still live a good life and set yourself up so that the next one is better. So that's one of the reasons I made this exercise, right? So this move past the panic exercise, what it is it's going to do it does two things. I call it the 20 ways exercise, okay? And you're going to first stop and look at 20 ways being laid off is a good thing for you. This is the universe in action. I'm sure there have been things you've been wanting to do in your life, do with your day. One of the things I did, I really had wanted to always study photography. Like study it, practice it, get out, do the homework of it, explore the world, take my camera. And I couldn't. Sure, I'd taken, classes on the nights or the weekends or something like that, but I never really got to sit down and just study it. So one of the things I did in my layoff is I bought the $50 for the month, unlimited access to the great courses. And I took every single class program session that National Geographic did on photography. Basics of photography, intermediate photography, travel photography, wildlife photography. I did that nonstop, and it took me about, I think, 3-4 weeks to get through it all. And I still have my notebook from it all. I took it serious. I got up, I would practice every single thing before I would go on to the next lesson. Make sure I mastered it. Do you know what happened? I'm an award-winning photographer. I'm an award-winning photographer because I got laid off and chose to do something with it. Because yes, of course I was applying for jobs. Of course I was doing these other things, but guess what? A day can only be filled with so much of that. This is a time for you to do the things you haven't been able to do in your life. And you get to do that knowing that there is some money coming in and that you will have a paycheck on the other side of it because that is who you are. So that's the first part of this exercise. This exercise is 20 ways. This 20 ways is going to be a good thing for you. And then I list 20 ways. So after the exercise, you actually get to see my list of 20 ways. And this could be a great thing for you, right? Learn something new is one of them. But what about your family? What about walking your kids to school? I'm sure you've been there as a parent, but have you really been there? Been able to be in the moment, not distracted by your email, your cell phone, or a deadline, a meeting call, something? You get to do that now and have these moments. Build them into this experience, right? So these are just some of the different ways. But then what the exercise does is we take it a step further and we look at 20 ways the universe can send you $20,000 right now. $20,000 right now. Because something else that I had to realize, and maybe you're in this too, is I was accustomed to getting money from a paycheck. And I was accustomed to getting that paycheck through employment, through full-time employment, by being my best, by doing all these things. Get the education, get the job, get the paycheck. There you go. And I started to open up my mind and realize that's not the only way to get a paycheck. It's not the only way money comes in. Money can come in a lot of other ways. I don't have to wait between now and then to bring in money, to attract money. So that's the other thing that this exercise does, okay, is it's going to do that for you. It's going to help you see right now you are more open and free than you've ever been. You are more open and free than you've ever been. And let's build something fucking phenomenal out of it. Because when we sit there in the stress and the adrenaline and the panic, we're looking to solve one problem instead of trying to build a great life. Okay, so that's why I put together this exercise. Yes, I'm going to still answer questions. I do see some of the comments coming in. I'm glad this is helpful for you because it is really, really frustrating that you've given your all, those nights, those weekends, those overtimes to this job, and this is how they treat you. It sucks, but it is not you. And in fact, this might be the universe telling you it's time to do what you've always wanted to do. And now you get the space to do both. Apply for jobs, do interviews, go get a recruiter, go do all the other things to get your next job because you already know how to get a job. You've been employed. You're employable. You're phenomenal. You're a fighter. That is why you're having this adrenaline rush. That doesn't have to be the only thing that comes out of it. Because what ends up happening is in 4 months, when you get employed again, you're going to look back and you'll be like, man, I could have slept in a few times a week. Man, if only I had seen that I could have gone and worked from anywhere. Oh man, I could have spent more time with the family. One of the things that I did is during mine is I also decided to go travel to the places, right? I didn't have money to go like truly travel. I was unemployed. But I could get in the car, take the camping gear, and drive somewhere that I couldn't get to on a weekend. So I was in Michigan at the time, so I went up to Mackinac Island. I went up to the UP. I went and explored the things that were too far for me to get to on my Friday through Sunday camping trips. And I get to go midweek. I got to do the things that I couldn't do while I was employed, knowing that I was still handling everything I needed to do to bring about my next job. And so at first, the idea of like, well, what am I going to tell my next employer, right? They're going to ask me, first off, when you say that you were laid off, every employer knows that's not personal. They know that. They know it wasn't you. Being fired or let go, that's different. But laid off, nah. They just know it was wrong time, wrong place kind of a thing. But they might ask, well, what have you been up to in that time? And so I got to tell them, I got laid off right before the start of the summer. So I took advantage of that. I'd always been wanting to learn photography, so I learned photography. And then I traveled around the Midwest in the summer, and I got to go to all the camping sites and the state parks that you don't get to go to. And and I told them, I framed it like this. And I was like, and then I had a family vacation planned, and it didn't make sense for me to try and get a new job just before that family vacation started. So I waited till the end of the vacation. Vacation ended 2 weeks ago, and so now I'm back in the job market. The hiring managers didn't look at me like I was crazy. They looked at me like I was brilliant. I didn't just sit there and panic. Oh my God, I just nothing, just applied for jobs for 2 months. No, they saw that I was somebody who comes with gratitude, that I am somebody who knows how to take advantage of an opportunity, that I'm creative. And they also saw that I had rested and I was ready to get back to work. These were all things that were extremely important to them. So it was no surprise. I got an offer letter 2 days later. Unemployment does not have to be a bad thing. Let's take the moment to reframe it. Allow it to be something great. Hey, and it's on. Thank you. I appreciate you too, love. I'm sorry if you're going through this or if you know anybody who's going through this, but this really can be amazing. So if you want, grab the download. If you want to just have it in worksheet form, absolutely free, guys. It's just your email and your name. That's all I need because I'm going to email it to you. To help you, right? I know it's scary. I've been there, been unemployed more than once, been on unemployment. The second time I was unemployed, it lasted the full 6 months. It took me that long to get that new job, but that new job changed my life. My whole life changed because I saw my life and how I lived it differently. And I want that for you too. Okay. So let's see. Were there any questions in here? I think I saw some questions earlier. How do I stop the constant anxiety and panic attacks when one thing to remember is, why are you even panicking? You panic because you care. You panic because you care. That means something. You panic because you care and you want to fix it. You will. Somebody who wants to do something will get it done. But just remember that when we have those panic attacks, what we're doing is saying, I can only focus on one thing. Our body gets so adrenalized, right? So much adrenaline that we go into fight or flight mode, and we can only focus on the one thing. We can't build a life because your life is more than one thing. And when you're focused on the one thing. So, I've got the exercise. You could do some meditations. You can go online, abundance meditations. Oh, that's right. I did. I just recently finished. It's absolutely free. It's on my YouTube channel. It's a series. It's a 21-day wealth and abundance meditation series. So every day it's just like 10, 12 minutes of meditation about wealth and abundance. And you go through it, and over the period, like, it'll help change your mindset about things. So give yourself the opportunity to, I see the note already. The YouTube channel is at CEO Legal Coach, at CEO Legal Coach, CEO Legal Coach, okay, on YouTube, one word. So that's there too, right? So give yourself the opportunity to calm down. Tell yourself it's going to be okay, because you know it's going to be okay. You're not going to let it be anything other than that. You can do this. So give yourself the opportunity and remind yourself, I can't be fun and creative and come up with my brilliant, you might come up with $1 million idea here. Like, seriously, you have 6 months. What on unemployment plus whatever severance? Like, are you kidding me? Let's do something with this. Let's make something amazing. Do be mindful that, starting a job or a company, and once you start to get revenue, that can undo your unemployment, but you can do all the business planning. You can learn everything you need to learn. You can do all of those such things right here, right now. You have the space to do it, and then also apply for jobs, right? So use the 20 ways exercise to help you get through that, okay? How long should I wait before I start applying for new jobs? Only you can answer that. Only you can answer that. But I would suggest give yourself a day or two here to just breathe. This is a little traumatizing. There's shock. Give yourself the space to recover. Give yourself the self-love. 2 days is not going to hurt you right now, right? Especially if you've just been told you're laid off, you probably are still employed for a few more days, or if not a few more weeks. Give yourself some breathing space, okay? And then when it feels right, because you might decide, you know what? One of the times after I was laid off, I actually kind of changed my career a little bit. Still in the legal space, but doing something differently for law firms. I did a little pivot. I actually made a lot more money at it. That's what was kind of crazy because it came from a place of passion and heart. I feel completely worthless. How do I get my confidence back? Oh, love, please don't feel worthless. You're not. You're not worthless at all. Look at you. Look at everything you've ever done in this world. Look at the fact that you're on this call right now. You are worthy enough of putting something into a message and me reading it. You're not worthless. You just changed my life and the life of everybody on this call by simply even being honest and vulnerable. So thank you for being vulnerable. Oh my God, I want to cry that you feel that way. Please don't feel the way. I love that you're asking, how do you get your confidence back? Because it means it's already in you. Your confidence is already yours. It's already in you, but it might need a moment to process. And that's okay. Remember, layoffs are not personal. It's simply business. Our product line didn't work right. They have to change offices. All the tariffs that are happening, all of these changes in the environment, legal things change too. Businesses have to pivot. They have to keep profit on the books. And if letting people go is how they fix the numbers, that's how they fix the numbers. It's not you. It was never you. You were employable. You were employed. And you were such a good employee that you didn't get fired. That alone already says you have a value to employers. And now is your opportunity to give value to yourself, your friends, and your family, and your life in a way that your job maybe had taken it before. Everyone is asking, aww. You know what? You want to fix it in the moment. Of course you do. Of course you do. But your job is part of your value exchange in life. And you're not here to just be a worker. You're not here to be a worker bee. You're here to live a thriving, abundant, fulfilling life. And that doesn't happen in a moment either, but you need a moment of clarity to know what direction to go. Yeah. How do I stay positive when the job search feels hopeless? How do you stay positive when the job search feels hopeless? I'm like trying to figure out which side of that I want to get to first. I can answer both sides. Staying positive is always a choice, love. Do you guys know about my 2% exercise? Have I ever told you guys that one? So it's really simple. When I'm trying to manifest something new in my life, and then life happens. Like I had a heart attack, like not literally, but a family member, very close friend, suddenly had blood. It was a situation. My heart sank. My heart sank, and I had to go to work. I had to go teach. And so I was not in 100% mood. I was not in the space where I'm like, let's lead the next generation of leaders here at all. But I also didn't want to inject my mood into their day. That's not what they're there for. So I simply asked myself, okay, Keisha, we know you're not 100%. I'm like, nope, we're not 100% at all. Where are you? And I was like, I'm maybe like 28%. I can give 28% of myself right now. I was like, okay. Thank you for that honesty. I see that. I see that that is where you're at. Can I ask you a favor? Can you move it up 2%? Can you go from 28% to 30%? I go, yeah, I can bring myself up 2%. I can make myself be at 30% right now instead of 28. And then I did that again. Can you get yourself to another 2%? Can you move your mood from 30% to 32%? And I did this until I hit my threshold. And I was able to move up about 8 to 10 percentages. No, I wasn't going to run at 100% that day. I just wasn't. But I could do better than my default. And so that's one of the ways I use the 2% rule is that right there. So when you're not feeling positive about your job search, ask yourself, can I elevate myself just 2% today? And then allow yourself to be creative. Be creative. Just because you got a job this way before doesn't mean it's the only way you get a job now. Maybe you have other people, maybe the people who you reached out to last time are in a different role, have different influence or power. Teams that weren't hiring before are hiring now. and vice versa. Okay? Remember, hopelessness is a mindset. It's not the truth. There are jobs out there, and the right one is trying to find you. Get yourself on the right frequency so that you create your space. You create the research to find it, or the right connection, and you have the right words on the paper to where it just suddenly falls into place. Okay? You can do that. And then, like I said, you can only apply for jobs so much. There's only so much out there, only so many letters you can send a day. Go do something that makes you happy. For me, that was photography. So I went and did that. Another time it was, I started an Etsy store. Started putting all my art onto Etsy. So I needed to make more art. So I went and did more art, right? I found another outlet. When you focus your whole day about one thing and it doesn't come through, it starts to feel like failure. It's not that you're failing at it. You're making progress every day. It's that you're so focused on it that give yourself a rest. You ever have those things where, like, the moment you stop thinking about it is when it comes to your mind? That, yeah. What's the very first thing I should do when I get laid off? Some self-love. Some self-love. Because you're what's going to get through this. You're what's going to get to tomorrow. You're what's going to move forward. You're what's going to have the next answer. You're the one who's going to get the next paycheck. So give yourself some self-love. Remember, it's not personal, but it is about you. This chance right here, this opportunity is about you. Like I said, the first time I just went into panic. The first time I was unemployed, I just went into pure freaking panic. But the second time I came around, I was like, I can do better. I can do better. And so I did better for me. And I went on and did things I loved. Well, guess what? I got another job and I got paid a lot for that job and all of those things. And that job was more fun and better than the one I had before. Glad I got laid off. Now, if you had asked me that day, the day I got laid off, I would have been like, oh, come on, man, I just got this job. This sucks. No severance, nothing. But by the end, oh, I was very happy about it. Very happy about it. And you can have that turn around for you too, okay? My severance agreement says I can't sue. Does that mean I should be worried? Okay, so a severance agreement question. The severance agreement. Look at what it is. 99.99% of severance agreements are going to have you waive your rights to sue about something. The question is, what is it having you waiving your rights to? Current things related to the layoff, current things related to your employment, future things that you can't only sue that employer, or things that you can't sue anybody related to anything to your employment, right? Somebody hacks your data 6 months from now at that employer. Can you sue them? Yes or no? Well, your severance agreement might prohibit that because that would be related to your employment there. So check the words. But odds are, in a severance agreement, you're waiving something that you could sue. The question is the scope of it. And that scope is negotiable, but know that it is very common and industry standard that you waive your rights to sue for anything up to and through your unemployment. Your layoff date. They want to know that you're not going to sue them for anything that's happened at your employment or the way they're letting you go. So that is very normal to waive. Anything beyond that is optional and negotiable. How do I know if the offer they're giving me is good? Okay. So I've got, I didn't, I'm like, I made so many resources about this stuff. Rule of thumb. So first off, severance pay is not legally required. They do not have to give that to you at all. It is something they are choosing to do because they get a benefit. In order to sign a contract, there must be a value exchange between the parties, right? Laying you off isn't a value exchange. That doesn't benefit you, right? So they can't ask any more of you. So what do is they're going to ask a lot of you in your severance agreement, majority of the time, and in exchange give you some money for it. And that's the value exchange. So that money is always negotiable. It's always negotiable because the fact that they're even offering it to you means they're open to negotiation. They didn't have to offer it in the first place. Now, that being said, a lot of companies have policies. If they're laying you off because of money problems, they may not have a lot of money that they can even offer. Rule of thumb, general rule of thumb is 1 week of severance pay. So 1 week of your salary for every year you've been at the company. So if you've been at the company 8 years, it would be industry norm to pay you 8 weeks of salary. That's the general rule of thumb. Now, of course, that can change based on what they may have, what they think they can get away with, or what your job has been. The higher you are up in a company, the more leverage you have because you know more about what's going on and so on. You also have fewer jobs that you can go get. And so it's a balance exchange. So rule of thumb, how do you know if it's a good number? One, look at everything they've been paying you, right? One of the jobs I had, I was a sales rep, so I had a base salary, but then I also had commissions and bonuses and all these other things. And they're like, well, we're going to pay you 8 weeks of salary. I don't want that's 20% of what my take home was. I want 8 weeks of everything. So know that it's based on what you've had. Industry standard is 1 week for every year you've worked there. And I know that's harsh, right? You could work somewhere for 10 years and you get 2.5 months of severance. That's it. Bye-bye. Thanks for a decade of your life. Yeah. But do know that the severance is not a thank you. They are asking something greater in return because they're not going to start off with an equitable agreement. They know they get to take advantage of the, unfortunately, I don't want to say they're going to take advantage of it. They know there is a strong likelihood that the loss of your job has put you into shock or panic. Exactly what we've been talking about all day, right? And so what they might do is they leverage this opportunity to give you some money, some breadcrumbs to get more out of you. And many of us get caught up in that panic. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have this call is we get caught up in the panic and we don't see the full opportunity of what's on that page. We don't see the full opportunity of this negotiation and we don't step into that. We feel ashamed, embarrassed, whatever. Fuck that. You just got laid off, an employable person who did their job. You have value. And you're not just going to give up more of your rights and what is important to you because of an inconvenient timing. You know you're going to get some severance. You know you have unemployment available to you. Let that bring you some peace of mind and space to breathe. And that's usually why many states require they give you some window of time to review the severance agreement. They can't make you sign it on the day of or anything like that. That's required because they know you're going to be in emotional shock and they don't want your employer to take advantage of that. Okay. I do have my severance studio program if any of you need that. It walks you through all the 4 main areas of a severance agreement from your perspective as the employee. What's negotiable, what's not, what do you do, all of that type of stuff, what to look out for. And of course, what I would do if I ever had that happen to me again. But everything I've ever learned or known about severance agreements is in that, but without the legal nonsense, right, for you as an employee. All right, all. Thank you for hearing me out. Like I said, what to negotiate in your severance agreement is going to get moved to Tuesday. Today was about the power of reframing. Know that there is that free exercise for you if you ever want it or need it. It is at ceolegalcoach.com/layoff-opportunity. See, I will, you know what, let me just put that in the chat right now. That wasn't there. Okay, here we go. So there, I just put the link in the chat. So if you want to grab that, just a quick little download. Like I said, it gives you, helps you expand your horizons, ways to look at your layoff in a positive, empowering way. And then I gave you 20 ways that I would, take advantage of this situation in fun, amazing, life-enhancing ways. And then I use it to show you how you can find 20 other ways that the universe could give you $20,000. Because a paycheck is not the only way to get money. Might be the only way you're used to, might be the habit you have, but a paycheck through an employer is not the only way to get money. And so let it expand your horizons on that.